Rav Kook was telling us yesterday about his inner battle to write the book Orot HaTeshuva. Rav Kook mentions that Tshuva alea bunuyot kol hatikvot ha'ishiyot. All the personal hopes of a human being are built upon Tshuva. What does that mean, the personal hopes of a human being are built upon Tshuva? Very good. Imagine the world without the concept of Tshuva. Imagine what it would look like. I mean, all day long, can it be that a person would never do something wrong? Could it be?
No, it doesn't mean that never do something wrong. It means you always know that you can return.
Oh no, I'm asking another way. What if there was no Tshuva? Is there a person in the world who can say, I never did something wrong? King David says, En tzaddik ba'aretz, there is no righteous man on earth, asher ya'aseh tov, which will only do good, v'lo yecheran, will never do wrong. No such thing as a person who's a complete... Everyone does something wrong. So even that person, imagine what he would feel like knowing there's never a way that I'm going to be able to do Tshuva. It would ruin society. It would ruin the world. Mo'en Vuchim, the Rambam tells us in the Guide to the Perplexed, that Tshuva is something that a person must believe in. They must believe that if I do something wrong, that I'm able to fix it. Ve'ilu yamin ha'adam, I'm quoting now from the Rambam, Mo'en Vuchim. The Rambam says, if a person were to believe, ki en tikva, l'rapeh zot ha'machala, if there was no way to fix this disease, le'olam, forever, haya holech b'mechashchei pa'alav tamid. Then he would just keep doing things that are bad his whole life. V'efshar she'yeh mosif b'chatav, and he might even do worse than he originally planned, k'shida she'en lo tikva v'lo yetza, when he knows that he has no hope. There's a saying people say that, I'm going to go to Gehinnom anyways, so I might as well do that. No, who said that that's true? Yeah, you may have done things that are wrong, but you did Tshuva, no? So you're not going to go. So what? Why do you get stuck on it? Because some people really believe that no matter what they do, they're never going to be able to fix it. And what this does is, it doesn't make people more serious about not doing an Avera. You think, oh, so if there's no choice for Tshuva, people are going to be very careful not to mess up. The other way around. Someone who doesn't believe they can do Tshuva will never get out and start doing something good. Because they know there's no point. No matter how much good I'll do, I can't outdo what I did that was bad. Aval baut kshamin ki yesh tshuva, when a person believes, says the Rambam, that you can do tshuva, when a person believes such a thing, yitaken ma'asav, he'll fix his actions, v'yashuv l'mutav, and he'll return to that which is good, v'aderech hashlemut, and he'll go back to the complete path, even greater than what he was before. The Rambam says not only will the person do tshuva and he'll go back to where he was before, he'll do tshuva and he'll go back to an even greater place than he was before. What does that mean?
You won't do it again.
So does that make it greater than he was before? I mean, now he learned his lesson, so he won't do it again.
Right, that's good.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I actually always struggle with this concept that the place where Balei Tshuva stands, Tzaddik Gemur can stand, and always I don't quite get it. Because
Let me explain. There's a ladder, a big ladder, falls far away. That's a deacon far away. That seems like more than 9 meters.
no, what I mean is we were really close with my first rabbi, Rabbi Yonatan Halevy, and he is the guy who grew up in Ner Sharim. And grew up in Ner Sharim, then several yeshivot, and now he's a rabbi. He doesn't have TV, So when you talk to him, you know, on a daily basis, you feel like he's pure, clear mind without all this worldly trash. And for example, I am Baal Tshuva, and my mind will never be as clear as his. I will always struggle with my all type of trash in my head I acquired through my life, right? It will always be there. You cannot clean it. It's like a hard drive without erasing option.
Right.
So all dirt.
Barry,
all
maybe before you
trash-
come, sorry. Can you bring me a Talmud right behind you? There's on the third shelf down. There are a bunch of small books. One bookcase over. There are a bunch of small books. Yeah, the first of the dark brown. The first one. Yep.
Whatever I do, I can do
Yes.
right things.
Still will pay
But
for
whatever I do, my mind is still contains all this dirt.
So you struggle with this concept.
But his mind
Doesn't have that problem.
always will be clear, pure, you know, full of Hashem, and you know. So this is how we can compare these two states. He
So-
is like an angel compared to me.
Can I make you a happy man?
Right? You can try.
I can try. Let me see if I remember. It's been a long time since I.
Understand what I'm saying?
I use that pencil.
So in my mind, the collection of all trash and dirt I collected through my sinful life. And I will always say, I cannot become like him. There is no backup.
Okay, let me.
You assume that when they
The Gemara tells us.
you assume that
I'm going to quote you the Gemara. Here. So let's if I remember correctly, just careful, that chair we broke it today. It's right behind your back.
Yeah.
This is a little.
Sorry, put this one away.
You got enough ortho problems, bro. You don't need
you're running.
running.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up in my own time, but I remember the Gemara says the opposite also. It's not an opinion that everyone agrees on in the Gemara.
Yeah, there is opinion that these words mean
The opposite. Oh, very good. Okay, you know what I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
So maybe that they're like you.
Yeah.
Maybe then it's an argument. And my friend, I remember when I was learning this in 10th grade, this page. My friend said, I don't know why all the rabbis quote the first part and never the second part. What can I say? It seems though like the Rambam quotes the opinion that
Rabbis try to inspire people. Come Baal Tshuva, you will be greater than Tzaddikim.
so maybe the tzaddikim need inspiration too. Maybe the tzaddikim need inspiration also. They could inspire both people. I want to say I have a Kabbalah from my teacher, Rav Peretz, that not every time that our rabbis argue, you have to see that as an argument. When our rabbis argue about halakha, it must be that they're arguing. If one says you can do this on Shabbat, and one says you can't do it on Shabbat, they're arguing. It's an argument. But when it comes to agarata, when it comes to the musar in the Talmud, the ethics and the morals, if they are saying two different things, it doesn't have to be that they're wrong. It could be they're both saying two things that are true. And my Rebbe said he learned this from his Rebbe, Rav Dessler. Our parents learned by Rav Dessler in Israel. You know Rav Dessler. Rav Dessler wrote Michtav Meliel, Strive for Truth. You know, you for sure saw them both. Strive for Truth. So this was our parents' Rebbe, one of them. And he used to say you don't have to make arguments where there are no arguments. So here, let's say, two opinions are saying, one is saying where Balei Tshuva stand, even the Tzaddikim can't stand. He's looking at a Baal Tshuva as somebody who he worked harder to reach where he reached to get to this point in his life. The tzaddik, he takes it for granted. You know, he was born in HaShamayim, like we said. He never even had a TV. He doesn't know what the street looks like. So in this aspect, a Baal Tshuva is much greater. The tzaddik doesn't understand. But there's another side. The other side to the coin is still, a tzaddik is a tzaddik. He's always been a tzaddik. He's a righteous man, he never did anything wrong. Of course that's going to be a higher level than someone else. So both sides are true.
Yeah, but Rivka and Yitzchak were praying for child, and Hashem listened. So two people, tzaddik and Baal Tshuva praying, Hashem listens to tzaddik.
She found a proof. Okay? I hear. What we're saying is both opinions can be correct. They're talking about two different aspects of a person. And here what the Rambam is trying to say in the Moed Vuchim and Rav Kook is trying to expand on, if you want to give hope to humanity, you have to teach people about Tshuva. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov writes, I have to tell you the truth. Rabbi Nachman is a hard chassidut to learn. Breslov. It can be very confusing in a person's head. Things there that are hard on face value to understand what they mean. But just because of that doesn't mean we won't study the writings of Rabbi Nachman. It just means if you don't understand something or it sounds like it's going against something you know, yes, it might be true. It might be going against something you know to be true. There are things in the writings of Rabbi Nachman that he was alone in saying them. It doesn't make a difference. A lot of tzaddikim like that. But Rabbi Nachman is the rabbi of hope. That's how I call him. Unlike any other person in the world, any other rabbi that I'm familiar in the world, Rabbi Nachman's entire mission was don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your life. Don't give up on your future. Doesn't make a difference how old you are. Doesn't make a difference what you did in your life. Doesn't make Kadosh Baruch Hu en shum yeush ba'olam. Rabbi Nachman said, "There's no yeush. There's no giving up hope. No despair in the whole world. Hashem doesn't give up on you, so don't give up on yourself." I'll tell you the truth is, in my high school years, the writings of Rabbi Nachman are what pulled me through in some hard situations. Every teenager struggles. And Rabbi Nachman, he understood what struggle was. He wrote books for those who are struggling. Not for tzaddikim. He didn't write the books for the tzaddikim. I mean, tzaddikim definitely have what to learn from Rabbi Nachman, but he cared about the people. And the truth is that you'll find that I don't know if there's any other religious group in the Jewish people that has as many former criminals and convicts and gang members as Breslov has. In a good way, I'm saying, and not in a bad way. I'm not saying people of Breslov are holy, righteous their whole life. But they give hope even to people who you and I would give up on. Because that was Rabbi Nachman's message. That was Rabbi Nachman believed in. There's some averot. The Zohar says you can never do tshuva for it. And Rabbi Nachman said, listen, I don't know what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. I can tell you can do tshuva for it. But the Zohar says you can't. He says, I understand the Zohar different than you understand the Zohar. There's not what to understand here. The Zohar says you can't do tshuva for it. Rabbi Nachman said, you cannot give up on tshuva. The moment you give up on tshuva, you undermine the future of the world. People, you're ruining it. You're gonna destroy the foundation of when you do something wrong, you're able to fix it. So Rabbi Nachman has a famous saying, and I think about this saying a lot. especially in the last few months. Rabbi Nachman says, and the students who wrote this down, they write the following words. Binyan hitchaschut, levan lipol ha'adam bedato. Rabbi Nachman said regarding a person that he shouldn't become depressed. Rabbi Nachman gave the following advice. Ana v'amar. He answered and he said, Im ata ma'amin shecholim lekalkel, if you believe that you had the power to ruin something, ta'amin shecholim letaken, you have to believe that you have the power to fix it as well. Rabbi Nachman said, if you're telling me everything's from God and you didn't ruin anything, you didn't make any mistakes, okay, so then they're not your mistakes to fix. But we know that's not true. We know that we ruin things, we make mistakes, we have lack of judgment. And Rabbi Nachman says, if you believe that you have the power to ruin something, to ruin, so to speak, God's plan, you also have to believe that you have the power to fix it. It's not a one-way street. And what that does for a person to know, hey, I did something wrong, but I can fix it, it's a feeling that's very special. Now, I never speak politics, ever, especially not in my classes. And Bichlal, I don't... In America, I feel like I'm a guest here. So I try as much as possible to keep my head out of American politics. You have a president in America today. Well, I can imagine not everybody in the Jewish community is so fond of. But you know, not everybody in the world has to be right all the time. They can even be wrong all the time and even then still be right on something. It's a fact. It's not a question. A person who could be the worst person in the world can still have something good to teach us. Esav didn't have one mitzvah to his name. I promise you the president can be whatever you might want to consider him. But Esav, he's not. He didn't earn that title. It's a hard title to earn, to be Esav. The president had a famous video where he went to prison. Now, you know this. And the president said, you know, we live in a system where there are so many people in prison. It's become already in many communities, not our communities, but in many communities, it's a part of life. You, either before or after you graduate, if you graduate, high school, elementary school, college, whatever it is you're doing, a person serves time in prison. It's like going to a sleepaway camp. Like, yeah, everyone went to prison. It just depends how long you went to prison. And the president said it's not okay. It's not the way that this world should look. And I'll tell you the truth is, I'm not sure in which context it was said, and I don't know who he was referring to, and I don't care really. But the message there was a true message. You live in a world where someone can make a mistake.
That is the one good thing you did.
Someone can make a mistake when he's 15 years old, 18 years old, and he'll rot in prison till the day he dies. Our Torah doesn't have a prison system. Do you know that? There is no prison in Jewish law. Because either you can rehabilitate a person, it might mean slavery to the person you stole from, or getting married to the person you raped. Not you, Khalila, somebody. But if a person can be rehabilitated, the Sanhedrin puts him to death. But the notion of wasting a person's life behind bars, like an animal in a zoo, is not a Jewish concept. Because it undermines the meaning of, what is tshuva? What does it mean tshuva? Can you do tshuva? A person in prison, can he do tshuva?
Good.
No.
But he can't really act it out. He can demonstrate.
Right. In his head, in his heart, he can do tshuva. But it's not going to help him, really. The most challenging job as a chaplain must be the chaplains in prisons. I'm not sure, but it must be. Because a chaplain in a hospital, he can say, listen, there's hope. Maybe the doctor will cure you. Maybe Hashem will heal you. But a chaplain in prison, what can he say? He knows that there is someone who can change it, but he's not going to do it. Do you know how helpless that chaplain must feel? What kind of hope can you give a person? You know, do tshuva. Change your mind. You'll still be here for 50 years. What does it help a person?
Good behavior they can do.
It depends what it is. It's something to think about. Tshuva, either we believe in tshuva or we don't believe in tshuva. And if we believe in tshuva and we want ourselves to know what tshuva is and for Hashem to forgive us, we want that ability to hope that we can change for the better. We have to give other people that opportunity. The opportunity to change, the opportunity to fix themselves. It's now Elul. Elul is the time. You don't Erev Yom Kippur and you go around asking people, forgive me, do you forgive me? What does it help when you wait till then? If you burn bridges with somebody, you're angry with somebody, you have a hard time with somebody, Now's the time to go talk to them. They might tell you no. That's okay, you tried. Go now next week. And next week. And next week. But if you want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to work on forgiving us, we have to make sure that we work on forgiving other people. Opening up the doors. Not holding people forever in our hearts as bad people. Sometimes people change. I had a roommate in yeshiva who really didn't treat me well when I was his roommate. Mature at best, a mean person at worst. And I decided after I left the yeshiva I was never going to talk to him again. I left him a note on his bed before I left the yeshiva, and that was the last I heard from him. About a year ago, it's about 5 years after I was his roommate, I got an email from him asking me mechila, asking me to forgive him. He's become a new person, he's doing things different in his life. What are you supposed to say? No? You're going to be angry at a person for the rest of your life? What does it do for you? It just ruins you. The hope of humanity is to know that when he sent that email, that there's a chance that I would say, really, it's okay. 5 years ago, it's a long time ago, we were both in high school, who cares? We have to give people that chance. And we give people that chance, like let the Lord give us that chance. But it's something we have to do. It's something we need to do. I'll share with you personally. Last night we had slichot. And there are people here who came to collect for tzedakah. And it's not okay. Somebody's house, it's not the kind of place you go to collect. I have a problem with the system in the first place. And I have a problem with the people who drive it. All kinds of problems I have with the system. But what can you do? A person needs... So many people come back and you saw them last time, they could have fixed the situation, they don't want to fix the situation. Things could have been done differently. Some of you around this table know what I'm talking about. And so what can I do? I'll tell you the truth. I'm not in a good situation. Sometimes people come and Baruch Hashem I have, and I can give. I was in a hard situation last night, and I could give whatever I could give. And I felt so bad because normally if I could, I would do more. And the whole night I was my wife had to calm me down. How can I ask Hashem to forgive me? Hashem, take care of all the poor people, and Hashem, and I'm lying because when that person shows up at my door, I have every excuse in the book. Something for me to think about. It's for me a cheshbon nefesh. All of us have something like that. We ask Hashem for one thing, but when Hashem says, "Okay, I'll do it," but I want to see if you'll do it too. Will I really do it? It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know an answer to this question. But I have to try. I have to try this month of Elul to do something different. Because what we've been doing for every year until today didn't work. Clearly we're still in San Diego. We're still in Galut. We have to change. And Rav Kook is saying, I want to give hope to humanity. But part of giving hope is giving other people hope as well. B'ezrat Hashem, we should be matzliach and we should be successful in giving hope to everybody. And Hashem should give us hope with tshuva. And we should all do tshuva and have a Shana Tova and V'orechet B'ezrat Hashem.